Hi, and welcome to Copy Hack Labs, where imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. Sunburst mirrors are very trendy now, so I thought I would try my hand at making a sunburst mirror clock using this cool clock, sort of retro, that I got at Walmart. The inspiration for this project came from these 2-inch round mirrors that my friend Doreen gave me. She had these left over from a presentation she gave and was going to throw them away, so I thought I'd try to make some use out of them, make something crafty. So let's get started. So here's a bird's eye view of all the supplies you'll need for this project. If you look in the comments section, I'll go ahead and list everything specifically with all the details of where I bought these items and how much I paid. So again, the centerpiece of this whole project is the clock. It's a retro looking clock. Again, my friend Doreen's mirrors. These are 2-inch round mirrors. I believe she bought these from eBay, and I have about 40 of those. You'll need some sort of adhesive. I prefer the E6000. That's a really strong glue, but you can also use, if you have a glue gun, you can use a glue gun. You can use super glue. You'll want to have some of this painter's tape on hand and some wire cutters. I also bought some 1-inch round mirrors. You'll need 24 of those. You'll need about 27 or 28 of these little gemstones, and these are usually used to fill up a vase or a vase, however you want to say it. You'll need 24 of these 6-inch wooden dowels. You'll need 24 of these 12-inch wooden dowels. And you'll need twice as many skewers. These are barbecue skewers. You'll need 48 of these. Lastly, you will need some sort of spray paint. This is Krylon. I am using the Brilliant Silver. Obviously, you pick whatever color works best for your project. So again, in the comments section, I will list all the details of these. And the first thing that we're going to do is start spray painting these dowels with the Krylon spray paint. So let's get to work. Now you want to always make sure you use spray paint outdoors. You don't want to be doing this indoors. I set up a little paint box here, and the dowels can roll around as I spray paint. While our dowels are drying, we're going to do some gluing of the 2-inch round mirrors. Now as you can see, this clock has a see-through face to it, and because we're going to be gluing dowels and we have extra mirrors, I thought I would take each mirror, we'd take 12 of them, and put one behind each one of the numbers, and that way when we glue the dowels, you won't be able to see them through the face of the clock. So to do this, we are going to turn the clock over to the back and then start placing the mirrors upside down, and you want to space them out all the way around the clock, covering each number. And we're going to use the painter's tape to put them into place and just hold them until we're ready to go ahead and glue them. And this is the last one. Now I did have to keep flipping the clock over from time to time just to make sure the mirrors were definitely covering each number. Okay, now to put the mirrors on, I want to make sure that the glue isn't going to show through on the clock face. So I'm going to be taking super glue. I like this super glue as opposed to the other adhesives. This has a nice tip to it. I'm going to trace the number with the super glue and then put the mirror in place on top. That's why we have that painter's tape. So that's going to help us make sure that we are putting it back exactly where we need to. Like I said, I'm just tracing the number. You don't want to get any glue other than the number, or else it's going to show. And then simply place the mirror back on and press. And then repeat for the rest of the numbers in the mirrors. Okay, so once you're sure those mirrors are completely dry, go ahead and remove all of that blue painter's tape very carefully. And then you can flip it over and see how you did. Looks pretty good. So your next step is going to be laying out your dowels. You want to plan out the spacing for all your dowels. I suggest that you start with the 12-inch wooden dowels, and then we're going to fill in the rest. So this part is the planning stage, and you might want to take some time figuring out the placement for your dowels, or you could just copy what I did. Whatever pattern works best for you. Okay, so here are our 24 12-inch wooden dowels, and these are 3/16 inch in diameter. I have my E6000, and then we are going to glue one wooden dowel on the back of this clock, one at every circle or mirror, and then we're going to glue one in between each mirror. We're going to go all the way around with that. And you want to make sure that your dowel is pointing toward an invisible center. You want to make sure all your dowels are perfectly centered, or pointing toward the center anyway. Okay, my friends, so as you can see, I did have to resort to using my glue gun, and I should have used that in the first place. The E6000 and the super glue did not work at all. So as you can see, I have shamed them there in the corner, and I should have relied on my trusty glue gun. So that is the pattern that I did with the 12-inch wooden dowels. Those are the thicker ones. And next I'm going to use the 6-inch dowels and make a similar pattern. And as you can see, that some are a little bit more in toward the center than the others, and that's to give it some variety of lengths. So again, you can choose whatever pattern you want to do. This is the pattern that I chose. Okay, so here we have our 6-inch wooden dowels. These are the same diameter as the 12-inch wooden dowels. These are 3/16 of an inch, and the pattern that I designed has it so one 6-inch dowel will go in between each one of the 12-inch dowels. So let me get started with that. Again, I'm going to be using hot glue, and I've abandoned that other type of adhesive, the E6000 and the super glue. It just really wasn't working out very well. Just put a dollop on there. And the reason why I didn't want to go with hot glue is I have a terrible time usually with all that stringy that kind of makes a big mess. Okay, so we have the last one of these 6-inch wooden dowels, and again, I'm using the glue gun. After doing all 24 of these, I think I finally have a pretty good technique. So you put down some glue, some hot glue, place the dowel, give it a little rotation there, swirl it around, and then hold it in place. You want to really make sure that you hang on to that until it's fully stuck on there good. So again, 24 of the 12-inch dowels. I've got 24 of the 6-inch dowels. If you can't find the 6-inch dowels, I found those at Dollar Tree. So for $1, it wasn't a bad deal. But if you can't find the 6-inch ones, you can certainly just buy more of the 12-inch ones and cut them down. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is put the skewers on, and we're going to put one wooden skewer in between each dowel all the way around. And remember, we're doing 48 of those. So if you remember, I mentioned that you might want to have some wire cutters handy. That's for these wooden skewers, these barbecue skewers. Again, we're going to be putting one on either side of every dowel, and you have 48 of these. I decided that I want to vary the length of these wooden skewers because these are 12 inches long, just like my wooden dowels. So just to give it a little bit of variety, I am going to cut these into different lengths. So as you can see, there's a tip here, and I want to get rid of that. And you want to watch your eyeballs when you do this. And then I'm going to cut this a little bit. There's no rhyme or reason to it. Okay. Now, if you don't want to have this strange blunt end like you see there, you can just continue to cut on the sharp end. And then that way you won't have this weird edge. Now, some of these dowels you'll see I'll be covering with small mirrors, so this one doesn't matter, but if you don't want to have an unfinished edge, you'll want to trim down just on the one edge, which will be hidden because you're going to be gluing that piece to the clock itself. I don't know if you can see that. Okay. So again, we're going to be gluing exactly the same way using hot glue. Put it on the back of the clock. Placing the skewer in the hot glue, giving it a little bit of a rotation. Make sure the glue is nice and covered on that skewer, and you want to place the skewer sort of between those two dowels, the short one and the long one. You just hold it in place until you think that it's properly set. So I wanted to film some of my progress. I found that putting some blocks makes it a little bit easier to hold the skewers in place while they're drying. So again, I'm cutting these and I just lay them down and sort of see what looks right, and then give a little clip. And this time I hung on to that end so it wouldn't fly across the room. Put a little hot glue. Wrap that skewer in hot glue. And now when I lay it in place, I don't have to hold on to it like I was before. I'm going to let those wood blocks hold it for me. Okay, so we have all the wooden dowels glued on using hot glue. I went ahead and put another layer of that hot glue around the dowels that are attached to the clock because I want to make sure that this is really sturdy and nothing falls off. I'm going to flip this over and show you how it looks. Now, I did have a casualty already with this clock. I must have been too heavy-handed when I was gluing something down, so you have to remember to be gentle if you have a clock with a glass face. I did crack it a little bit here, but that's okay. We're not perfect, and I'm going to hang this up anyway because this is going to look cool. Anyway, now is the fun time when we start decorating, and I will show you how I will decorate it. You decorate it however and with whatever materials you want to do. You want to use and what's available to you. Again, I'm using these 2-inch round mirrors that I'm going to start with. I don't remember off the top of my head how many I told you that I was going to use, and because I'm a big klutz, not only did I crack my clock, I broke several of these mirrors as I was spinning my clock around. I'm a big klutz. So anyway, I have 24 of these mirrors left. I'm going to plan out where I want them, and you plan out carefully where you want to put your little decorations on your clock. So you want to plan it really well before you start gluing, because after you start gluing and you change your mind, it's sort of too late. So I'm going to do a little bit of planning, a little bit of gluing, and I will show you how that comes out. Okay, so I have my 2-inch round mirrors hot glued down, And even though I broke a few earlier on, I think 24 2-inch round mirrors was really the perfect number. So the next thing I'm going to do is plan out where I'm going to put these 1-inch round mirrors. And there are 25 in this pack. I'm only going to need 24. And let me plan that out, and I'll let you see later on how that worked out. 1-inch mirror, 1-inch round mirrors are all set. They're all glued down. And I sort of like symmetry, so even though they do look a little random, I actually tried to get these as symmetrical as possible. Let me see if I can get my camera and give you a bird's eye view. Okay. Now, the last step, and again, this is optional, I bought some gems, and here they are. And I bought these at Walmart. They come in two different sort of styles. Here's this clear looking gemstone, and then they have an opaque gemstone. I'm going to stick with the clear, but if you decide to go with the gemstones, you do whatever you want. This is your project. So hot gluing these gems, and I will show you the finished project. Here's the finished product. I added those gems and just put everything, I just kind of eyeballed where all those gems should go. I decided to hang it in my Copy Hack laboratories, aka my basement. This is where I do most of my work. And let me get a closer shot so y'all can see where I put those gems. Unfortunately, the lighting in here is not that great, but you can get the idea. I took some photographs along the way. I will post them on the social media sites that I subscribe to. On Twitter, Instagram, I have a Facebook page, Pinterest page, so you can take a look at the photos that I posted. And please subscribe. I shall be posting some more videos of some other things that I've copied or hacked. Came out pretty good. I'm still a little miffed about that crack, although you can't really see it too badly. So in the comments section, again, oh, there's my dog barking. In the comments section, I will post where I purchased all the different materials for this. I believe that this came to about $20 or so. Anyway, this came to about $20. Again, I did get those little 2-inch round mirrors for free, but they didn't cost very much money to begin with if you wanted to create this entire project. And if you went to Pottery Barn or any of those home decor sites, I guarantee this would have been at least $100. Some of these things go for a couple $100, so not bad.